morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time zone that you are catching us. Thank you for tuning in here to the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. It's your boy, RumboyzRobbie. Yes, I am rocking the GLD. Link is in the description. Get your GLD, represent your favorite NFL team just like me. Make sure that you guys hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also leave a comment. More importantly, share the content. Share the content. Get more people aboard the Rumboyz pirate ship. We're trying to take this plaque back here, and we want to turn this into a silver play button for the entire crew. All right, for all the contributors here at the Rumboyz Fantasy Network. It's your boy RumboyzRobbie. Let's go ahead and get into today's episode of Fantasy Football Friendly. But before we do, I do want to make sure that you all are aware. Link is down below in the description. I am partnering with my homies over at Pros with Joe's. I am going to be representing the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Shout out to the donor that dropped 105. We have one donation for 105. The way that this works with Pros with Joe's is one random donor. It doesn't matter if you donate $1. It doesn't matter if you donate $100. It doesn't matter how much you donate. All right. Just for you having the kindness in your heart to go out there and be a mental health warrior and donate alongside with your boy makes it to where you get entered into a raffle to win a Rumboyz swag bag that contains Rumboyz t-shirt, the backpack itself, a shot glass, and a bottle of my favorite rum. Along with a chance to co-manage a fantasy football team with yours truly. Again, Pros with Joe's. You see the foundation that I'm representing. You see my cause as a mental health warrior. As someone that's been through it, I had to hold it down. Compete against some of the best in the fantasy football industry. All of your favorite TV, radio, YouTube, fantasy football personalities are a part of this charity. We're all contributing. It's all hands on deck. We're all representing our own causes. If you don't like my cause, you can donate to one of theirs. Just find the kindness in your heart if you have it. Let's get into today's episode of Fantasy Football Friendly. We are talking about the Cleveland Browns, the Believe Land Browns. Do you believe in life after love? I can feel Cleveland ready to sing their way to winning some games. Oh, cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the run boys and girls. What it do, dilly dilly. I got that coffee in my cup. Shout out Kirko. As always on Fantasy Football Friendly, we do start off with the quarterback position, and we are going to begin today's breakdown of the Believe Land Browns with Deshaun Watson, QB 22, an 8th round evaluation. When we look at, the type of leagues that we like to play here on this YouTube channel, which is that 2 QB or that super flex type of format. 8th round evaluation is where you're going to be looking at Deshaun Watson. He did serve that he did have to come back from the 2022 season after that 11-game suspension. Then he had the shoulder injury that set him back last season in 2023. Look, Deshaun Watson, it's tough to say that he's going to return to that 2018 to 2020 form when he was with the Houston Texans, because right now he's not allowed within a 5-mile radius of a massage parlor. With that being said, and with that being stated, in each of his 2 abbreviated seasons with Cleveland, Watson averaged 15.1 fantasy points per game, completed 59.8% of his passes over the last 2 years, and averaged 6.5 yards per attempt. Homie's turning 29. Think that he's going to go back to the first round pick out of Clemson in 2017 that went to the Houston Texans and lit it on fire in 2018. It's just a stretch of the imagination for me at age 29. But if he can stay healthy, isn't bad QB2 value. Morally, I just won't allow myself to pick him. But hey, there's multiple different ways to get to a fantasy football championship. If you're willing to go and get Deshaun Watson, it's actually fairly equitable to have him rostered as a 2, or even have him as a 3 on your roster. I like what that can provide if Watson could remain healthy. Keyword could remain healthy. He has some weapons around him too. You know, this Ken Dorsey offense might be able to do some things. You know that they're definitely gonna sling it in a Ken Dorsey offense. So there's that also as well. We now move on to the running backs. We are going to work this a little bit differently. All right, because I am going to start with the star of the backfield, and that is Nick Chubb. I know what everyone is saying. It was what, a ACL, MCL, LCL, I believe, that were all torn. He tore 3 ligaments in his freaking knee, ladies and gentlemen. You tear 3 ligaments in your knee at age 28, 29, and you tell me how you're going to feel coming back into such a rough contact sport such as football, such as the National Football League. Just want to double confirm that injury. He went down in week 2 last year and was out for the rest of the season. Yep, MCL, PCL, and LCL. I'm sorry, MCL, PCL, and LCL is what Nick Chubb tore in week 2 last year. He did come back in that from that same left knee when he injured in 2015 at Georgia. When he came back that next year, 1,130 rushing yards. So, but he was significantly younger then. Your body heals a lot differently when you're younger, when you're in your earlier 20s. All right, so that's something to factor into with Nick Chubb. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, also with Nick Chubb is where you're going to be able to draft the man. All right, where you're going to be, how late you're going to be able to get Nick Chubb and then maybe stash him on the IR spot. See how many IR spots you have if it's a risk that you're able to afford, especially at the front end of the season, at the beginning of the season. It's not a bad option whatsoever to maybe wait, 9th, 10th round, grab Nick Chubb, stash him on IR because he's probably not going to come out the gate at the beginning of the season. It'll probably be middle towards the end of the season that, we finally start seeing him. If I have Nick Chubb for my championship weeks and he's out there healthy, giving us flashes of the old, then, I'm with the shits, bro. So that's how I'm approaching Nick Chubb and the whole injury thing. If I'm in a league that gives me 3 or 4 injury reserves, IR spots, why not start the season with Nick Chubb sitting on one of them? I'm completely fine with that. It's a game that I'm willing to play. Also, with the Cleveland backfield, talking about the back that is actually going to start the season is Jerome Ford. Now, with Jerome Ford, you got to measure when you look at him last year. Okay, all right, Ford RB39 coming into this season per consensus PPR. When we look at PPR, you got to measure him from weeks 3 through 17. All right, and when he was a starter, averaging 14.9 touches, 66.6 total yards as an RB20 in fantasy, I'll take that as a 2. You're going to be getting Ford late, like as possibly maybe even like a flex to like a 3 kind of deal. You're going to be able to slide him in your roster from week 1 on. which is something that I am completely okay with. Um, whenever we take a look at Jerome Ford, uh, he's going to be the starter again. He's going to give you RB2 upside. Not too worried about Naeem Hines or Deontay Foreman back there and how that's going to work out. I feel like Cleveland knows that with Chubb out, or maybe only getting half Chubb, that Ford is going to be the guy. Ford is going to be the guy. Let me just see something one moment, because I want to see where you're getting, or where Ford went in this particular draft here. Because I definitely think that it's a value. Of course, even though this draft board kind of, in a way, being all over the place, we've followed ADP pretty fair, pretty fair. But furthermore, more importantly, I think that you could be okay running Ford as a 2, maybe even as a flex type of play when it's all said and done. I want to keep it moving here because I just want to keep the train rolling. Uh, I want to go to Amari Cooper, and I want to talk about Amari Cooper, wide receiver 25. This is like pretty much right at that threshold where you start looking at, wide receiver 2s on your roster. If you're going late receiver because you wanted to go running back early, or you want to get your quarterbacks early in a 2 QB, that's fine. Cooper, 6th round evaluation when we talk about Amari Cooper. All right. That's right around that same area as a Christian Kirk, or a Terry McLaurin, a DK Metcalf, a Zay Flowers, a Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, George Pickens, Tank Dell, Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley. Like there's a couple of guys in that range, in that tier, that I personally feel I may rather want over Cooper, but don't take my bias towards Amari Cooper, or my lack of bias towards Amari Cooper as gospel here. All right. He had to deal with shitty quarterbacks last year. I mean, well, Flacco kind of kept the team afloat and did actually help fairly well keep the team afloat. But ranking 10th in yards, 1,250, and second in 20-yard gains, 42. Important for first downs. If you got bonuses for that. His 40% air yards share, also ranked 10th in the league. Finished 17th in points per game, 12.7. And wide receiver 18 overall through 17 games. All right. If Watson's on the field during those 5 games that Watson was on the field, maintained 23% of the target share, 42% air yard share, averaged nearly 100 receiving yards per game, give or take, 14.8 points per game, ranked 6th during those games with Watson. And 15.7 expected points per game, which ranked 15th. Even with the addition of the guy that we're going to talk about next, Jerry Jeudy, who Taco is all in on. Amari Cooper is still the wide receiver 1 in Cleveland and is still going to provide you that upside. All right. With that being said and stated, I have no problems how you approach grabbing Amari Cooper. The man is a route running technician. You guys know me as someone that respects the art of playing wide receiver. Having grown up, played wide receiver, Amari Cooper goes out there and does the job right, plays the position right. Gotta appreciate Amari Cooper. Could he end even higher than, look, like we mentioned, what, through 17 games, wide receiver 18 overall. You're getting him at wide receiver 25. If you could get, he's going to finish at 18 or even higher. Straight up. Straight up. It's a Ken Dorsey offense, and we already saw how that looked in Buffalo. They're going to go vertical. They're going to go vertical all day. Speaking of doing so, Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy was hated in Denver. Like, he wasn't very loved and appreciated. I know I went off on him here on this YouTube channel, not like, personally face to face, but I went off following the exchange between him and Steve Smith Sr. You guys know I'm a big Steve Smith Sr. guy. Respect your elders, respect the guys that laid the groundwork. I have my personal knocks on Jerry Jeudy. I'm not drafting Jerry Jeudy any fucking where possible. Wide receiver 3. Wide receiver 3. I mean, I assume that Jerry will outwork Elijah Moore for that 2 role. But fantasy-wise, I see nothing more than a 3. Didn't get a lot of red zone looks last year in Denver. What I think it was only 2. Yeah, he struggled finding the end zone. Only 2 touchdowns throughout the year last year. So it was wide receiver 50 overall. I'm not thrilled about Jerry Jeudy, and that's really all I gotta say. I mean, this could be an opportunity for Jeudy to resurrect his career. I'm definitely not knocking that possibility. That is definitely well within the realm of possibilities. But I'm not drafting. That's all that I'll say. That's how I'll leave that. Moving forward, but really quick, just to touch on Jerry Jeudy one last time. If you do, and if he can work his way into wide receiver 2, and this offense truly can, flourish, 13th round evaluation, and if he can produce and exceed that, and perform like a 9th rounder in fantasy, that's decent output, and that's a good climb. Sometimes just a change of location and scenery is all a receiver needs. So yeah, there's that with Jeudy. This team is actually pretty equitable, where you're able to grab a lot of these guys the way that you're able to kind of construct your roster around them. I mean, what Cooper's 6th round evaluation, Jerome Ford 12th round evaluation. Like, you can do some things with this team when we talk about roster construction. David Njoku, 8th round evaluation. Let's talk about the tight end. He's tight end 9 per consensus whenever I take a look over at Fantasy Pros. Okay. You're grabbing him around about the 8th round. He went 8.5. Tough right there. I have no problems with that being my tight end 1. Absolutely no problems. The thing is that Njoku struggled with Watson at quarterback. He flourished with Joe Flacco under center. Joe Flacco's not going to be under center, so that's a whole issue. Okay. Last year with Joe Flacco under center, he ended the season as tight end 7 in fantasy points per game. With Watson, it was bad. It was pretty much all fucking bad. In 5 games Watson played, Njoku had 15% of the target share, 1.23 yards per route run, 35.2 receiving yards per game, only 1 end zone target, 0.035 first downs per route run. Like, 8.5 PPR points per game. That stretch with Watson had him as tight end 7. Would have had him as tight end 17. That's where I worry. But with the full-time Watson, I think we could see. I think we could see, pretty decent production. All right. I think the joke is still going to end a top 10 tight end. He's going to request the ball. He's going to be give me the ball. The man's a freak of nature. And by the way, we featured him on the cover, ladies. I hope that you enjoy it. I'm just going to dive right in to grading this team. I don't feel necessary to kind of go too crazy into depth concerns or anything. When we overall look at this team and kind of where you're able to grab the pieces and then what they can provide for you fantasy value wise, it's actually pretty equitable. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it becomes very tempting. I can get Watson in the 8th round. I could get Njoku in the 8th round. I could get Chubb in the 9th round. I could get Jerome Ford in the 12th round. Like, it's pretty fucking decent. I can get Amari Cooper in the 6th round. Jerry Jeudy, hoping for wide receiver 2 upside, grabbing him in the 13th round. I'm actually liking how equitable I can grab some of these pieces. I don't feel like I need to grab multiple pieces, but maybe having, 1 or 2 here. I have absolutely no problems with running Amari Cooper, without Watson in a stack, or Njoku without Watson in a stack. I have no problems with Watson being the QB2 or a QB3, and then even with him being stacked with either of those guys. I don't mind grabbing Ford, mad late, and then starting in week 1 with the, hopes that he's going to give me RB2 type production. Fantasy football friendly grade is a C+ overall when we talk about the Believe Win Browns. Okay. If they could put it all together, this team could win some football games, even playoff potential. The wild card is more likely the conversation. The closest thing that I feel like that they're going to sniff the playoffs is that. And even then, it'll be a one and done situation. But I like this team to win games. I like this team for fantasy football. I like this team for DFS. I like this team for betting. Give C+, and let me, grab a little piece here or there, dip and dabble. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what it is. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the rum boys and girls. What it do. Dilly dilly. Don't forget about Pros with Joe's. Find the kindness in your heart. There's a foundation I'm representing. Shout out to that donor that dropped the 105 single donation. Guys, add on to that. It doesn't matter if you donate $1. It doesn't matter if you donate, whatever. It's up to you. You're going to be placed in the raffle anyways with an opportunity to co-manage a fantasy football team with me, along with winning a Rumboyz swag bag, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, share the content. Cheers to me. Cheers to you, all the Rum Boys and girls. What it do. Dilly, dilly. We love it. Appreciate you. Catch us for Rumboyz After Dark tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Arrgh.